Hello, welcome to Celtic Crossroads from KILT Studios. I'm your presenter, Kenton Adler, Director of Advancement for Scottish Heritage at Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas. Join me now as we explore an hour of music and story from all corners of the Celtic world. Our show is made possible in part by the Campbell Collection, a generous gift from the estate of the Duke of Earl, the late Robert Louis Campbell of Earl, Arkansas. The collection consists of music and literature now housed in the archives of the Lyon College Mabie Simpson Library, and by the Lyon College Scottish Heritage Program.
Dusty plains and iron chains met heaven's sons and daughters, cast upon a barren land, a far-off fatal shore. They dreamed of misty mountains in their home across the water. They sang of Connemara and a home they'd see no more. Now limestone walls are all that's left of kinds of pain and failure. This country yields the secrets of the beauty that it holds, and the tunes of Erin's Isle are now the music of Australia. For Irish hands have woven strands of green among the gold. And so beneath the Southern Cross they sang their songs of Ireland. They sent her sons and daughters there in the hungry days of old. They played their jigs and reels beneath the skies of their new homeland. For Irish hands have woven strands of green among the gold. Nowadays when times are hard at home, some people take a notion to start a brand new life upon the far side of the globe. And now they find their hearts are stranded somewhere in mid-ocean, though their days are full of sunshine and their future's full of hope. Their children see a broken life of shearers and bushrangers. They learn to play our music and to dance the steps of old. Though their hearts are in Australia, they never will be strangers to the land that's left behind them. They're the green among the gold. And so beneath the Southern Cross they sang their songs of Ireland. They sent her sons and daughters there in the hungry days of old. They played their jigs and reels beneath the skies of their new homeland. For Irish hands have woven strands of green among the gold. And so beneath the Southern Cross they sang their songs of Ireland. They sent her sons and daughters there in the hungry days of old. They played their jigs and reels beneath the skies of their new homeland. For Irish hands have woven strands of green among the gold.
Hi, you're listening to Celtic Crossroads, and I'm Kent Adler. We started the program off with Fiddler's Bid from the album Ham na Tang with the Isle of Igus. After that, we heard from Sean Keane and his album Turn a Phrase with Green Among the Gold. Then we heard Parcel of Rogues performing Bridie's Hornpipe and Peggy's Jig. And we just heard from William McCallum and his album Haley's Song with Brigadier General Ronald Cheap of Terrorin and Donald McClellan of Rothsay, a couple of fine 2/4s. We're going to carry on now with a tune from Clannad and their album Magical Ring with Tower Hill.
There were 3 knights came from the west with the high and the lily-o. And these 3 knights courted one lady as the rose was so sweetly blown. The first knight king was all in green with the high and the lily-o, and asked of her if she'd be his queen as the rose was so sweetly blown. The next night king was all in white with the high and the lily-o, and and asked her if she'd be his delight as the rose was so sweetly blown. The third night king was all in red with the high on the lily young, and asked of her if she would wed as the rose was so sweetly blown. Then you must ask of my father dear with the high and the lily o, likewise of her that did me bear as the rose was so sweetly blown. And you must ask of my brother John with the high and the lily o, and also of my sister Anne as the rose was so sweetly blown. So he did ask of her father dear with the high and the lily o, likewise of her that did she bear as the rose was so sweetly blown. And he did ask of her sister Anne with the high and the lily o, but did not ask of her brother John as the rose was so sweetly blown. 'Twas on the road as they rode along with the high and the lily o, there they did meet with her brother John as the rose was so sweetly blown. She stooped low to kiss him sweet with the high and the lily o, he to her heart did a dagger meet. Ride on, cried the servant man with the high and the lily o. Methinks your bride, she looks wondrous wan as the rose was so sweetly blown. I wish I was on yonder stile with the high and the lily o. There I would sit and I'd bleed a while as the rose was so sweetly blown. I wish I were on yonder hill with the high and the lily o. There I'd alight and I'd make my will as the rose was so sweetly blown. What would you give to your father dear with the high and the lily o? The gallant steed that doth me bear as the rose was so sweetly blown. What would you give to your mother dear with the high and the lily o? The wedding gown that I do wear as the rose was so sweetly blown. But she must wash it very clean with the high and the lily o, for my heart's blood sticks in every seam.
What would you give?
What would you give to your sister? My gay gold ring and my feather fan as the rose was so sweetly blown.
What would you
What would you give to your brother? A rope and gallows to hang him on as the rose was so sweetly blown.
What would
What would you give to your brother? A rope and gallows to hang him on as the rose was so sweetly blown.
What would you give to your brother's wife?
A widow's weeds and a quiet life.
Lock and load.
I will rove among the woods say green, and that's ought to go a posy to my ain dear May. The primrose I will go the first of the year, and I will go the pink, the emblem of my dear. She is the pink of womankind and comes without a beer, and it's hard to be posy to my ain dear May. The lily it is pure, and the lily it is fair, and it's in her fine young bosom will place the lily there. She sits so kindly at her breast and bloom without a care, and it's hard to be posy to my ain dear May. I will go when the evening star is near, and the diamond drops of dew shall be her reed so clear. Violets for modesty, which will she falls to wear, and that's ought to be a posy to my ain dear May. I'll tie the posy room with a silken bag of love, and I'll lace it in her breast and swear to God above. Take my latest drop of life, that man shall not remove, and that's ought to be a posy to my ain dear May.
That was New Celeste from It's a New Day with the Posy and Scottish Brawl. Just before that, we heard from Dime and their album Diversions with Lock and Load. Prior to that was The She from Murmurations with Three Nights, and we opened this portion of the program with Clannad from Magical Ring with Tower Hill. And now we're going to hear a little poem called The Witch of Fife. The Witch of Fife by James Hogg. Hooray, hooray, the jade's away, like a ricket of air with her bandolay. I'm up in the air on my bonny grey mare, but I see her yet, I see her yet. I'll wring the skirts o' the garden wame wi' curb and bit, and catch the bear by the frozen mane, and I see her yet, I see her yet. Away, away, o'er mountains and main, to sing at the morning's rosy yet, and water my mare at its fountain clear, but I see her yet, I see her yet. Away, thou bonny witch of Fife, on foam of the air to heave and flit, and little reck thou of a poet's life, for he sees thee yet, he sees thee yet.
You seamen bold, who plough the ocean, see dangers landsmen never know. The sun goes down with an equal motion, and no tongue can tell what they undergo. In the blusterous wind and the grand dark waters, our ship went drifting upon the seas, her headgear gone and her rudder broken, which brought us to extremities. For 14 days, heart sore and hungry, seeing but wild water and bitter sky. Poor fellas, they stood in a totter, casting lots as to which should die. The lot it fell to Robert Jackson, whose family was so very great. I'm free to die, but oh, my shipmates, let me keep lookout till the break of day. A full-dressed ship, like the sun glittering, came bearing down to their relief. As soon as this glad news was shouted, it banished all the care and grief. The ship brought to no longer drifting, safe in St. Vincent, Cape Verde she gained. You seamen all who hear my story, pray you'll never suffer the like again.
After the poem, we heard from John Whalen from a compilation album entitled The Celtic Highlands, with a tune called Dancing to a Lot of Time. Then we heard the Chieftains from Boil the Breakfast Early with the title track, Boil the Breakfast Early. And we just heard Ewan MacColl from Sailor Songs and Sea Shanties with The Ship in Distress. I'm Kenton Adler. You're listening to Celtic Crossroads, coming to you from the campus of Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas, through the auspices of Kilt Studios. Now we're going to hear from Macumba and Don't Hold Your Breath with the Selkie.
An earthly notice sits and sings, and as she sings, be lily wing. Little can I my bare knees feather, far less the land that he steps in. Then in he steps to her bed fair, and a grumbly guest I'm sure was he, saying, Here I am, thy bare knees feather, although I be not comely. For I am a man upon the land, and I am a selkie in the sea. And when I am far and far from land, my home it lies in Suscary. It was na weel, quoth the maiden fair. It was na weel, indeed, quoth she, that the great Selkie from Suscary should have come and brought a bairn to me. Then he has taken a purse of gold, and he has put it upon her knee, saying, Gite me, my little young son, and tack thee up thy nourice fee. For I am a man upon the land, and I am a selkie in the sea. And when I am far and far from land, my home it lies in Suscary. Hey, manja. 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 Na 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 na
there's no star in all the carry. Lightning's gleam athwart the lift, and winds drive on wi' winter's fury. Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Let me in, for loud the linn is roaring o'er the Warlock Craggy. Fearfoot socks the Burtree bank, the rifted wood roars wild and dreary. Loud the iron, yet there's clank, and cry a hool, it's Max me eerie. Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Let me in, for loud the linn is roaring o'er the Warlock Craggy. Abune my breath I daurna speak, for fear arouse your walk-rife daddy. Call the blast upon my cheek. Oh, rise, my bonny lady. Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Let me in, for loud the linn is roaring o'er the Warlock Craggy. Just let him in. He's cast aside his dripping plaidy. Blaw your worst, your rain and wind, says Maggie, no, I'm in aside you. No, since you're walking, Maggie, no, since you're walking, Maggie. What care I for bullets cry, for Burtree Bank or Warlock Craggy?
That was Spanish Vibes from John McSherry and Donald O'Connor from an album called Trip Switch. Before that, we heard from Doogie McLean and the album Real Estate with Are You Sleepin' Maggie? And we started off this final portion of the program with Macumba from Don't Hold Your Breath with the Selkie. You've been listening to Celtic Crossroads. I'm Kenton Adler. We come to you every week from the campus of Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas, courtesy of Kilt Studios and the Lyon College Scottish Heritage Program. And I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you back here again next time at the Crossroads.